समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या? समझ में नहीं आया।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
First of all, keep in mind at the back of your mind the D word. D stands for delimitation, and underline it because this will now dominate our political debate, not just now, but probably for a long time, but probably going right up to the 2029 elections or the run up to it. What is delimitation? This is the change or restructuring of national parliament, can be restructuring of state assembly also, depending on the new population figures. Now, if that happens, what will be the result? Now, the reason we are talking about this right now is that Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin on Tuesday, he announced that he was convening an all-party meeting on March 5 to discuss the issue of Lok Sabha delimitation. That, he said, is hanging over southern states like a sword. And this was after a cabinet meeting on Tuesday in Chennai. He said to the press, and I quote from what he said, Tamil Nadu is compelled to wage a major battle for its rights. The threat of delimitation is hanging over the southern states like a sword of Damocles. Tamil Nadu, a leader in HDIs, that is Human Development Indices, faces serious danger. And then he says the union government plans to conduct a delimitation based on the 2026 census. Remember, India ducked the 2021 decennial census. Now it looks like this might be planned for 2026. I will give you a little bit of perspective on that as we go ahead. And he says population control has been, Stalin speaking, population control has been a key national objective, and Tamil Nadu has successfully achieved it through effective family planning, prioritizing women's education, and advancement in healthcare. If delimitation is implemented based on population census now, Tamil Nadu will lose 10 MPs, so on and so forth. Many of these calculations are based on the presumption that the size of the Lok Sabha will remain the same. Now, there are many permutations and combinations possible. You can always say that the seats in the new Lok Sabha building, the new Parliament building, the Lok Sabha chamber, the lower house, has 888 seats. So maybe Modi government thought that when delimitation comes with the new population, then India might have 800 something or close to 850, 860, 880, 888 max seats, because that's the number of seats provided. At that point, it was said that, oh, this is also so that we can hold joint session of the two houses. But everybody knows that this is about an expansion of national parliament. If you look at this chart, for example, and this is paper from Carnegie Endowment by Milan Vaishnav and Jamie Hinson, this tells you that India's number of MPs, the size of India's lower house, is actually not that large. And also, number of voters per MP, India has the highest in the world for genuine democracies, right? Xi Jinping also calls China a democracy, but we'll keep him out of our syllabus for now. Just look at genuine democracies, even populist democracies. India's voters per constituencies is very high, and the size of India's house is quite moderate given the size of its population. So size can increase. This is the warning flag that Tamil Nadu has raised. Almost speaking in tandem, Chief Minister of Karnataka, Congress Party, he also joined in, and he said that Amit Shah's claim. Now, Amit Shah responded to Stalin's statement. Amit Shah said that Stalin is only reacting. He's trying to distract his people's attention because people in Tamil Nadu are unhappy, there is lawlessness, women are not safe, etc., etc. He's trying to distract attention by raising this issue. I can tell you that under no circumstances in the delimitation process, any state of the South will lose anything on pro rata basis. Now, you have to see this very carefully, because on the one hand, it would sound like the next parliament will also have pretty much the same composition or the same proportion for states as in the past. But that will go against the logic of numbers, because what is democracy? Democracy is about numbers. So you can't have a situation where in Bihar there is 30 lakh voters or 28 lakh voters. This is notional per Lok Sabha seat, whereas in another major state, say in Kerala, it's only 13 lakh or 14 lakh voters per seat. There has to be some principle of equity. So Amit Shah has not gone into that. He's just said that you will not lose on pro rata basis, which means will the house be expanded in such a way that states in the south, and the truth is this is not just about the south, because as we go along I will also tell you a couple of surprises, and one big one right next door from where I sit, right next door to Delhi. That said, clarity is something that is lacking in the system, and that's why there is debate over this. So, MK Stalin first raising the red flag, Amit Shah saying there is nothing to worry about, don't get alarmed. And then Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah also joining in on Thursday now. And he says that Amit Shah's claim that southern states will not be disadvantaged in the delimitation process is not trustworthy, and that his statement appears to be aimed at creating confusion among the southern states. And then he said, and I am quoting from Siddaramaiah, he said, going by the Home Minister's vague remarks, Siddaramaiah speaking, and I quote, going by the Home Minister's vague remarks, it seems that either he lacks proper information or there is a deliberate intent to disadvantage the southern states, including Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra Pradesh. And then Siddaramaiah goes on to say that if the central government genuinely wishes to ensure fairness for southern states, then Home Minister must clarify whether delimitation will be based on the latest population ratio or the current number of Lok Sabha seats. It is evident, and I again quote from Siddaramaiah, it is evident that if delimitation is carried out based on our current projections, and then he goes on to say Karnataka will lose this, Andhra will lose this, etc. But once again, that calculation is also made presuming that the size of population will remain the same. In fairness, I will also read for you the exact quote from Home Minister Amit Shah, and this he said while inaugurating his party offices in Coimbatore, Tiruvannamalai and Ramanathapuram. He said, Amit Shah said, and I quote, today a meeting will be held to ensure the South does not suffer on account of delimitation. The public in Tamil Nadu is disturbed. That's what he said, that because of the situation which he thinks is bad in Tamil Nadu. This is why Tamil Nadu CM and his son Udaynidhi are trying to distract the public. Mr. Stalin, the Modi government has made it clear in Lok Sabha that after delimitation, on pro rata basis, not a single seat will be reduced in any southern state, and I want to reassure the public of South India that Modi ji has kept your interest in mind to make sure that not even one seat is reduced pro rata. And whatever increase is there, southern states will get a fair share. There is no reason to doubt this. Now, having said that, what is a fair share? What's a fair share? By how much will the seats increase? Will then the distribution be based on what you had right now? So if Tamil Nadu has 39 right now, if everybody goes up by 30%, 40%, 50%, Tamil Nadu also goes up by that much? Or will it then depend on how much population you have, and then applying some calculation, some formula, some coefficient to arrive at the number of seats you have? Now, where is this coming from? This is coming from two important articles in our constitution. The first is Article 81, and second Article 82, which follows it obviously. Article 81 says that after every decennial census, a delimitation will be carried out, which means constituencies will be reset, numbers increased because population will keep going up in accordance with the growth in population. Article 82 further gives the detailed idea or detailed objective to say that how constituencies are now created, the new constituencies post this decennial delimitation, the fairness formula of people per constituency should be followed, which means the delimitation must reflect some kind of evenness in the number of people or number of voters per constituency. Now, the fact is that the last time this was done, a decennial census was used to restructure our elected bodies. was in 1971, 1951 census, 1961, 1971. The Article 81 was followed. After 1971, it wasn't. In 1976, how did this can start to get kicked down the road? In 1976, Mrs. Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, that was the 6th year of her parliament, and we keep on saying that was an illegitimate parliament. But this was the 6th year of her parliament, and she passed the 42nd Amendment to our Constitution, which was seen to be basically rewriting the Constitution or inventing or enshrining a new republic. Because with that amendment, basically your original Constitution, which is set on the bedrock of fundamental rights, that was set aside, and fundamental duties became more preeminent. And there were many other things we've spoken about this, but we are not going there right now. Much of the damage she did through 42nd Amendment, when the Janata Party government came to power and she lost power, then both parties, Janata Party and the Congress, combined to repeal most of the elements of 42nd Amendment, but some remained. One of those that remained and endured was considered to be wise at that time. That was Mrs. Gandhi saying through 42nd Amendment that delimitation will be kicked down the road up to 2001. That is 25 years from the day the 42nd Amendment was carried out. And the reason she gave was very important. The reason she gave was, remember 1970s, the emergency, India had rapidly rising population, and population control was the top national priority, right? That was also the era of forcible sterilizations and all. So she said, we are now asking the states to implement family planning. We have to incentivize them to implement family planning. If they are going to get more seats by producing more people, then this runs contrary to the national purpose of family planning. That's why she took a 25-year hiatus. Now, Mr. Vajpayee came in 2002. The question came up because the 2001 census had taken place. So what would Mr. Vajpayee do in 2002? So everybody got together, all parties got together, and they figured that a kind of imbalance had come in the population growth among many states, and to reopen this will call centrifugal tensions in India. So they again took a 25-year hiatus. They then said that delimitation will now be carried out after the results of the first census to be carried out after 2026. So that was a further 25-year break. Mrs. Gandhi's 25 years was extended by another 25 by the Vajpayee government. Everybody voted for it because they all understood how disruptive this might be. Now, what has the BJP done? Suppose the 2021 census had been held on time. The next one would be 2031. So after 2026, you would say, all right, so let there be a census in 2031. Then we'll see what do we do with delimitation. By not holding the 2021 census until now, the BJP now, it looks like, intends to hold that census in 2026, just when that last hiatus ends. So remember, what is it that the parliament passed? They said first census to be held after 2026. So BJP will say, here we are. We just held this census after 2026. We have this data, so we can implement this delimitation in the 2029 election. And even if they are not able to do it, it will become a big issue. It will become a north-south issue for sure. But from the BJP's point of view, it will also become a big issue in UP, Bihar, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, states which I might describe as the beneficiary states of this, because those are the ones where population is going up. Whereas the southern states, and a few more surprises, which have actually shown a great deal of success with family planning, they are concerned that their numbers will go down. And I will show you some data points and a couple of charts to understand this better. Right now, first of all, we have to see where this distrust is coming from. That opponents of the BJP think that BJP government deliberately did not hold the 2021 census They could have held it in 22, 23, 24, 25, right? But they've chosen not to do it because they were waiting for the 25-year period from 2002 to be over so they can just apply this census into the next election. Because if censuses were still held on decennial basis on like 2001, 11, 21, 31, then this issue will not be available, or this tool will not be available before 2029 election. I hope that makes the politics of this clear. Now, we don't know what India's population will be and what various states' population will be, because the data we have, the firm data we have, is 2011 census, and much has changed since then. But we have some more sources of data, and that's not just pure research and all. That is National Family Health Survey, and there is also the sample registration system, where all births and deaths are registered. However, it doesn't look like it's been updated lately. But the paper that we are quoting from, that I mentioned earlier, by Milan Vaishnav and Jamie Hinson from Carnegie, the 2022 paper, they've taken data from sample registration system for 2011-2016. And that gives you an indication of where we are headed. So see this graphic. This graphic tells you there are three lines in this graphic. Two are generally down. Third is a little bit stable, right? So the line in the middle is India's population overall. You can see that overall India's population is on the decline in this graphic. It's still rising, but it's on the decline. The rate of growth is on the decline because what's plotted on the left, on the vertical side, is the rate of growth. So that has declined in India's case. That's the middle line, the broken line. The line on the top, the thicker line, is for the more populous states which have not been so successful with family planning. Also, fertility rates have come down. So you can see that line is also coming down, but it stays well above the national average. This includes Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Bihar. And when I say Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Bihar, we are looking at the entire state. Not just, we are looking at the entire state as it existed earlier, before the state got divided. So the numbers for Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand and Uttarakhand are also included here. So these states overall still have a much higher population growth rate than the national average. And then see the third line at the bottom, which is almost stable. That is the line for the southern states. So there the rate of growth is much lower than the national average, which in turn is lower than the average of what used to be called, unfortunately, Bimaru states in the past. That is the nub of the problem, and that's where the southern states now worry that if new parliament is reconstituted, expanded and reconstituted based on the new population figures, new census figures, then a simple mathematical formula will be applied. Say X lakh of voters or X lakh of people per constituency, and then we will suffer because we have much fewer people relative to what we had in 1971. When the 1971 delimitation took place, the general formula was about 10.11 lakh population per parliament seat. Now, you will find exceptions, states in the northeast, for example, or Andaman Nicobar, which have very small populations, but those are just exceptions. Generally, the formula was 10.11. Tomorrow, what will the formula be? Will it be 20 lakhs? Will it be 25 lakhs? 30 lakhs? That is what everybody is looking at. Now, again, you can take any calculation, but if you take the calculation from this Carnegie paper, then in terms of what might be expected to be India's population in 2026, and the breakup of this population based on the state's total fertility rates, which are available from National Family Health Survey. So Uttar Pradesh will go up from 80 seats to 143 seats in this new house, whereas Tamil Nadu will go from 39 to 49. I will give you percentages as we go along. Kerala will still remain at 20. So UP goes from 80 to 143. Kerala still remains at 20. Maharashtra will go up to 76. Delhi will go from 7 to 12. Haryana will go to 18. So if you then add, according to this calculation, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Bihar. Generally, what was earlier called Bimaru states, as they were originally, including the states that broke away from them like Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, etc. If you add them all up, it's 199 seats. That 199 seats out of 543, today's parliament comes to 36.64% of Lok Sabha size, 36.64%. But if this formula is followed and if this projection of 2026 population is right and the seats in new Lok Sabha are distributed based on the 2026 expected population, then this will go to 43.35%. That is presuming that the size of Lok Sabha is increased from today's 543 seats to 848 seats. That's just for the ease of calculation because we need a number. So if it is 848 seats, these states will go up in their weightage from 36.64% to 43.35%. And the southern states, which now have 129 seats out of this 543, which comes to 23.57, about one-fourth, they will come down to 19.85, so just a little bit below 20%. That is what is causing anxiety. Now, having seen this, let's come to a third graphic. The third set of graphics tells you, because we don't have any other data, we don't have census after 2011, we have NFHS 5, which gives us some data, but what is it that we can look at in terms of the size of our constituency? So 2024 election was held. Don't think about how many people voted in each constituency. Just think about how many people were there in each constituency who could have voted. Registered voters in each constituency. This is not census. This is just voters lists. If you see this, you can see that there is a wide divergence between the number of voters per constituency within the state. So there is a bunch of states which I might call in the 19 lakh ballpark, which have about 19 lakh or a little more than 90 lakh voters per constituency. There is a couple that's above that also, that is above 21 lakhs. And surprisingly, and thereby lies another complexity. Delhi, in fact, has the highest number of voters per seat, which is 21 lakh plus voters per seat. So Delhi, in case of a delimitation, will probably double, right, from where it is now. From 7, it will go to 12, 13, something like that. Delhi actually is 21.73 lakhs, so almost 22, highest in the country. So Delhi deserves to have more seats of parliament. Haryana, on the other hand, is a surprise. Haryana, 20.18 lakhs. In comparison, Punjab is 16.59. So what is happening? Haryana population growth rate has come down, but if you look at NFHS, it's come down to 1.9%. That is TFR, total fertility rate. The number of, say, 10 women will produce in a year, in this case will be 19 in their reproductive ages, in case of Haryana. In the case of Punjab, it's about 15, right? So Punjab's TFR is 1.5. So Punjab already has much fewer people per Lok Sabha constituency. After the new census, it might look like that Punjab's average will fall even further. And Punjab, which is 13 to Haryana's 10 now, will also go to 18, or maybe Haryana might even go one more than Punjab, for all I know. Punjab will then say Haryana was my much smaller sibling in population, area, economy, everything. Now, all right, economy, Haryana has left Punjab behind, but now in political power also will Haryana leave Punjab behind? You can imagine what consternation will that cause in Punjab, which is a sensitive border state. Plus, there is also the Sikh politics issue there, and Sikhs among India's faiths. If you see the research from Pew as well as NFHS 5, Sikhs are among the 3 faiths with the lowest birth rates in India. That is Sikhs, Jains, and Buddhists, all in the 1.5% TFR ballpark. You can imagine what consternation that will cause in Punjab, which is a sensitive state at any point of time. That is the twist I had alerted you about earlier as we started speaking, that it is not just the southern states that will feel the impact, it's also states elsewhere. So what happens in these cases, that all these states, southern states, Punjab, Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, has the lowest growth rate for any state in the country, 1.4 total fertility rate. Probably because Sheikh Abdullah brought in literacy much earlier, women are not getting married that young, whatever it is, there is discipline and they followed the small family norm very well. Now, for that success, these states are asking, are we going to be punished? Because when you promoted the idea of family planning, in fact, you used that as the reasoning to delay delimitation, because you knew that the threat of delimitation or the sword of delimitation that now Stalin is talking about, if that hung over the states, they will not be inclined to push for family planning. So states that took you at your word, right? Those are the ones that will now be made to suffer. Is that fair? That is the nub of the argument or the debate right now. Just for ease of understanding, we'll again use data of the number of voters for each Lok Sabha constituency in the 2024 election. Now, if you see the total number of voters for 542 seats, because Surat was elected unopposed, for 542 seats, the total number of voters were 97.79 crores. That comes to 18.04 lakhs per constituency. So use that as a flat line, use that as a ballpark or a criterion for deciding how many voters per seat is fair in the country. Then you see who's above 18 lakhs and who's below 18 lakhs. And this is what the series of graphics is telling you. That will tell you where friction or problems may lie going ahead. Rajasthan, in fact, had the highest number of voters per seat in the 2024 elections. That is 21 lakh 40,000. So there are wide divergences. See the states in the 90 lakh voters per Lok Sabha seat ballpark in the last Lok Sabha election. That is Bihar, Telangana. I'm not giving you precise figures. That's too cluttery. You can see it on the chart. Bihar, Telangana, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka. Now you will say, if they already have such large constituencies, right? So tomorrow they will benefit in the new situation. What are they complaining about? The fact, however, is that Karnataka, while Kerala was the first to get population control success, Punjab is a sleeping success because nobody acknowledged Punjab. Everybody acknowledged and hailed Kerala, but not Punjab. Tamil Nadu came in just in the footsteps of Kerala, and it looks like Karnataka, Andhra, Telangana have been making improvements lately. That is in the last 15-20 years. Those are not the numbers that you see reflecting in the 2024 voter data. But when census is held, you will see these divergences getting wider. Then you can also see the next category, states in the 18 lakh ballpark. Gujarat 18.46, West Bengal 18.12, Chhattisgarh 18.79, Jammu and Kashmir 18.48, Assam not 18 but almost there, 17.55. And then there are other categories. You can see that all of them are lower. So there are wide differences. You can't collapse it into one and apply a cookie cutter approach and say, all right, 20 lakh per seat or 25 lakh per seat. There will be some judgment used and some formally used. Question is, what will these be? And that's what's got everybody worried. In fact, if you look at the data carefully, then a state like Odisha, if you see TFR, total fertility rate, in Odisha, birth rates have come down quite drastically. So Odisha is now producing less babies than it needs to replace its population. Very surprising for a very, very poor state. And then a state that is attacked and maligned quite often on the grounds of quote unquote allegedly poor HTI, West Bengal. West Bengal has a total fertility rate of just 1.77. Today, it's about the same as Kerala, so below replacement rate. So not all of these states which worry about delimitation based on population, a straightforward population calculation, are not merely in the south. They are also in the east, on India's eastern seaboard, that is Odisha and West Bengal. They are also states in the north. So it will be Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir. So this is quite a complicated thing. And that's the reason I said that this D word, delimitation, will now dominate the national political debate leading up to the 2029 elections.